Blast. Stop in to learn more or check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket and top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
So, the one thing that keeps coming up with this team is, are we frauds? Are we pretenders? Okay? And people keep doubting you guys, just so you know. And the way that you guys continue to handle adversity, all right, and keep swinging and keep fighting and keep clawing, all right, that's what this thing is all about. And that's why we are where we are right now. But we can't be satisfied. Is anybody satisfied? No, let's go.
I'll shot 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh!
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Fred Hoiberg. We got Dylan Raiola to Oregon. We've got a new defensive line coach. We got all these portal rumors and innuendos and commits and visitors, although they can't have visitors for the next couple of days. So let's start off with Nebraska basketball. Why? Because I am as excited about Nebraska basketball as I am anything else. The Huskers, if you didn't know, top 10 in the country, 16-0, down by 16 points, 51-35 this past Saturday on the road in Bloomington, Indiana. Came back and found a way to win. They are 6-2 in their last 8 Big Ten road conference games going back to last year. And like I said, I wanted to, we're going to get to Dylan committing to Oregon. And we're going to get to Corey Brown, the new defensive line coach. In fact, there's a new, as I was walking in, I was texted an update, a big-time defensive lineman who's now crystal ball to come to Nebraska. We'll see. He was a freshman All-American a couple years ago at Pitt. We got lots of stuff to get into. But I wanted to start the show off with 2 things. Number one, Jake, how's the beard look?
The beard looks fantastic. I'm glad to see that it made it through the weekend.
Did you like take a peek when I walked in? You didn't say anything.
Oh, I did.
You took a peek?
Yeah, I noticed the beard.
So I'm literally leaving my house. I still don't know what I'm going to do on Friday. Like, I'm going to the barber to get the haircut. I literally don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lie. I had started to swing towards getting rid of it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I just was. As I'm walking out, as you leave our mudroom, there's stairs. You walk to the vehicle. My wife's like standing at the top of like these 3 little stairs before you enter the garage. She goes, "What are you going to do?" Out of the blue. And I know what she's talking about. Am I going to keep the beard? It's like, I don't know. She's like, "You should keep it." And so I kept it. That tilted the scales right back to the beard, to fear the beard, or however you want to call it. The beard being here, they trimmed it up. That's part of it. Can't be looking like the Jungle Book, all right? Got to stay on top of this maintenance-wise, but the beard is here. So that was one of the things I want to start the show off with. But number 2 is Nebraska basketball. And then we will dive in to everything else that is, newsworthy to be talked about. There's plenty to talk about, as always. All right, Nebraska basketball 16-0. I posed this question over the weekend. Yes, the tournament, we need to win the first NCAA tournament game. Can Nebraska basketball win a couple of NCAA tournament games? That all, this season is going to be based on whether they win a tournament game or not. Let's be real. They could be number 1, 30-0, undefeated, lose that first round tournament game. That's all people are going to remember. They could finish the season 20-12. Man, that'd be a terrible way to end the season. You win that first tournament game, that's really all people are going to remember. Literally 2 weeks later, after the season's over, whenever that is, that's all people are going to talk about. But for fun, will Nebraska basketball be ready? Michigan lost. We've actually beaten number 9 BYU in an exhibition earlier this year, so we should be ahead of them, and we don't have a loss like they do. My point is there a point this year where Nebraska basketball just peaks into the top 5 at all this year, Jake?
Certainly could. The AP poll just came out. Nebraska moving from 10 to 8.
Ooh.
The number 8 basketball team in the nation. How about that?
Who slid behind us?
Looks like Gonzaga dropped 1, BYU dropped 2.
We should have been ahead of BYU anyways. Preseason games and exhibition games matter.
It's true.
It matters. All right. Topics at hand. You want D-line coach? Do you want portal updates? Do you want Dylan Raiola? What do you want first, Jake? What do you want to hear first?
I want to hear about Dylan Raiola. I hate to be that guy, but I think it's the most interesting thing going on. Unfortunately, not for the Huskers, but part of the Huskers.
All right, we'll chat about Dylan real quick. Just a reminder, Carriker Chronicles football camp, partnering with the ticket here. They'll be on site July 8th, Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. All sorts of great coaches, 35-plus coaches will be there, 15 of them with NFL and or college football experience, either playing and or coaching. I want to highlight Brennan Stye today, the assistant athletic director at University of Nebraska, national champion, original member of the Pipeline, greatest offensive line ever, Nebraska Football Hall of Fame, 9-year NFL vet. Let's see what else. Oh, let's see. My favorite stat of all. He averaged 11 pancake blocks per game throughout his career at Nebraska. Were you aware of that stat?
I did not know that. That's awesome.
First of all, we don't even keep the stat anymore.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I think they went away from it because the numbers were going to significantly go down as you transitioned out of the option offense.
We need to bring IHOP back, and we need to start counting pancakes again. Okay, 11 a game. Think about that. Dude, 11 times a game, he put a defender flat on his back.
That's the average. On his good games, you wonder what that number got to.
What would he have done to, Maine? Or
yeah.
Who'd we play? Houston Christian, Akron. What would he have done? Oh, my goodness. He'd have been dropping 30 on him. All right. Brennan Stye will be there along with Terrell Farley, Coach Osborne, Eric Crouch, yours truly, and a lot of other guys. Again, kindergarten through 8th graders. Learn more, register, etc. if you're so inclined to CarrikerChronicles.com. All right, Dylan Raiola, going to be an Oregon Duck. So not much has been said about Dylan. And there were a couple of folks, he's not getting any, not a lot of interest, not a lot of this, not all of that. I don't think he got the interest he thought he would get. I don't think there was a whole lot of bidding wars going on, which I think may have been a little bit of a surprise to him, so to speak. If you follow him on social media, he was following about 9,000 people connected to Oregon. So you knew there was some sort of connection there. He obviously had a vast interest in the University of Oregon. Dante Moore, the starting quarterback, has not announced he's going pro yet. Probably a top 5 pick. All right. Before the Peach Bowl smattering that was, he was the projected number 1 overall quarterback on the draft, Fernando Mendoza. Some people have him lower than this, which is not ASA 7, not ASA 8, it's ASA 9. He has 8 touchdown passes and 5 incompletions in his 2 college football playoff starts. Let me repeat that. 8 touchdown passes, 5 incompletions against Alabama and Oregon. Were you aware of that?
I was not aware of that.
At one point versus Oregon, he had 3 times as many touchdown passes as he did incompletions because he had 3 touchdown passes and 1 incompletion at that point in time. Nobody, I think one other quarterback. So there's 5 games this year where he's had more touchdown passes than incompletions. No other quarterback has had more than 2 in the same season in the past 50 years of college football. Just one guy, that's it. Like, I don't know how he's not number 1 on your board. Some people, I actually like his personality, kind of that bubbly, positive, I'm probably not going to get in trouble if you give me millions of dollars as an NFL quarterback type attitude, like mentality. That's what I would see as a GM. Some people see it differently. They react differently. How are NFL players going to relate to him? You know what? If he's completing passes and throwing touchdowns, they're going to relate really, really well. That's what it comes down to. So for me, he'd be my number 1 quarterback off the board. But all right, so let's assume Dante goes pro. Some of the Indiana stats that I have stacked up, by the way, are just ridiculous. Just absolute. I got some Indiana stats. Maybe we'll get to them today. Maybe we'll get to them tomorrow. They're just ridiculous. I mean, it's insane. But we'll get to that. You can tell I'm ready to talk about Dylan, but I kind of am not dying to talk about Dylan. I don't view him as Scott Frost, like, oh my gosh, how could you talk about Scott Frost? I'm just sick and tired of talking about Scott Frost. When he left, I was kind of like, okay, cool. I don't think we're going to be worse off without him. That was my instant reaction. Now, are we better off when he left than when he first got here? Technically, yes, because we hadn't been to a bowl game. We've been to back-to-back bowl games. But what we were told and what you expected, some expectations were unrealistic. Some expectations that were unrealistic were fed to us via microphone, connected to people that other people listen to. So, but realistic expectations, unrealistic expectations. Let's come back to the realm of realistic expectations. Never met those. Like you expect improvement. If you expect any sort of improvement at all, well, that's what we got. If you expect a realistic certain amount of expectations, I don't think we quite got those. And I think that's where there's a little bit of, well, we're better than when he first got here, but we're not anywhere near, like we didn't get the return on our investment to the amount of what we invested in him. We didn't get the same amount of return from the results on the field. That's how I look at it. But now you look at him going to Oregon. You know, for him, if I'm Dylan, I'm like, okay, Oregon's a college football playoff Big Ten champion last year, number 1 seed. This year, won a couple of playoff games. Like they're a complete, legit college football playoff contender again next year and the year after that. The 4 teams remaining in the college football playoff, they by far had the most talented roster. And I can get into that in a minute too, because I have the comparison to Oregon and Indiana's roster. And Indiana's roster actually compares more to Tulane than it does anybody else as far as like star recruiting rankings, portal rankings, things of that nature. Whereas Oregon is like up there with Georgia, even though Georgia didn't make the Final 4 teams this year. Georgia, Alabama, teams that were in the quarterfinals, the quarterfinals, but didn't make the semifinals. And in a lot of cases, they actually had more 5 stars than Georgia or Alabama did. But when you look at it from Dylan's perspective, he's going to be surrounded by more talent. He's going to a college football playoff contender. For me, if I'm Dylan, there's an obvious thing that attracts me to Oregon. It's in the Big Ten still. Going to play Nebraska next year. Is that game in Autzen?
Unfortunately,
Lincoln?
Yeah. I would have loved it to be in Lincoln.
Dude.
Could be 2027 if Dylan's still there.
Dude, they would have had to quadruple. Do you think they would have had to quadruple the security?
I don't know about. Yeah, I mean, his own team? Maybe.
Oh, man. Why couldn't that have been in Lincoln? Oh, that would have been phenomenal. But from his perspective, you know, it seems to be like a good situation for him. I look at it from Oregon's perspective. All right, we got a guy with almost 2 full years worth of starting experience. Obviously, didn't quite finish this past season. I believe he started over 20 games in his career. A little bit, actually, I think you pointed out to me, better touchdown to interception ratio than Dante Moore. Not by a lot. Oregon.
I think it's the same, actually, because 18-6, and I think Dante's at 13-10.
Well, you told me
it was 3-1. Well,
you told me it was better. All right.
I just want to make sure, yeah.
Relatively the same. So you got experience, relatively the same touchdown to interception ratio. Now, Oregon played a much tougher schedule than we did this year. There's also going to be some pretty good talent surrounding Dylan as well. What I wonder is he's used to certain things. Like, let's just be real. At Nebraska, there were a lot of guys here that used to be here that aren't here anymore the minute he came in through the door. And one guy who was here and then left, and now he's coming back is Daniel Kalen. So there were certain things he was afforded here at Nebraska. I wonder if he's going to be afforded those same things at Oregon. And I wonder if you're not used to being if you're used to being afforded certain things, like you go to X amount of high schools and so many years of high school, and then you go to a college and you have all these things that you're afforded, not that he didn't work hard and do certain things to earn them as well. But now you go to Oregon, is he going to be afforded those same things? And if you're a young kid and this is your first time, like, I've got to do things the way Oregon wants. Like, had I gone to Georgia, I would have had to do things the way Georgia wants. I came to Nebraska. I did some things Nebraska wanted, but Nebraska did a lot of things I wanted. Now I've got to go because, I mean, if you remember, he decommitted from Oregon. He talked about being a spoke on a wheel. You go to Nebraska, you can stand out, which was a positive thing, but it was almost kind of an underlying, a little bit of an indicator why he went from high school to high school to high school, why he decommitted from Ohio State, same thing from Georgia. I wonder how that translates to Oregon. It's a big boy school right now, college football playoff contender, lots of talent. Dante's projected to go to the NFL. I think you told me their next quarterback in line, or the guy who would have been the next expected quarterback in line, is transferring. So it's kind of a wide open door for Dylan to come in and be the starter. I wonder how he responds to that situation, a situation he's not quite used to, a situation as a whole that he could perceive to be pretty well, be pretty good, and he could do pretty well. And potentially, from Oregon's perspective, I also look and I'm like, all right, Dante could make plays with his feet. Dylan, not so much. I don't know. Like, Dylan's got first round potential, but he's not quite shown that yet. Can we get it out of him? How does he respond in certain situations? I mean, Dante Moore, man, that is one cool cat. Despite how the Peach Bowl went, up at the whiteout in Penn State, the guy didn't flinch. I watched him in a torrential downpour at Iowa, win a game 18-16. Guy didn't flinch. Like, how does Dylan respond in those similar situations when everybody's watching and there's a lot of attention, which can be a plus or a minus? You know, how do you respond in those situations? He's not going to make the same plays with his feet. Will he throw the ball more vertically downfield now? If I'm Oregon, I'm like, we got a guy with a high upside. He hasn't quite shown the equivalent play to what we've had the past few years when you look at Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix, Dante Moore. Do you think Dylan at Oregon, not can he? I'm going to put you on the spot because anything can happen. Do you think he will play to an equivalent level of a Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix, Dante Moore, what Oregon is used to out of their last three quarterbacks?
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of variance between even those guys. So, I mean, it's tough. I think he can. I think it's possible.
No, not can.
Yeah,
not can.
will he?
Yes.
I'll
answer it.
I think it'll be up there.
That level, that same level. So Bo Nix was what, top 10? Dante Moore, would you say he's projected top 5?
Yeah. Dylan Gabriel maybe would be.
Was third round, I believe. But Dylan also set a ton of collegiate records. That part of that was he played for a long time in college football. I think Dylan, sorry, go ahead and finish your answer. You threw can out there, and I was like, no, don't say can. Finish your answer, Jake.
Well, again, just to my argument here, and it is a little bit, maybe I'll be the bad news guy again, but it's just that I don't know if Nebraska gives Dylan Raiola, obviously, outside of on the field stuff, Nebraska gives Dylan Raiola everything. I get that, but on the field, Dylan's going to have the better weapons and offensive line going up against the opposing defenses, 80 to 90% of the time at Oregon. So I don't think you just kind of translate, okay, Nebraska to Oregon. Somebody out the text line mentions Oregon gave up 17 sacks last year. Certainly Dylan, that was partially his problem too. So, you might up that a few, but obviously a different type of battle than you're having here. My point is Dante Moore, when he came into Oregon, he was significantly had less experience. He played about half a season with UCLA. So the idea that Dante Moore was automatically going to work out at Oregon just isn't true. He got benched at UCLA by Ethan Garbers. He had 11 touchdown to 9 interception ratio. Didn't run for anything his freshman year. All that as a true freshman, midseason All-American, all that. I'm not saying it. So he flashed, is my point. Dylan's got a lot more experience behind him. And I think he's still got all the potential in the world. And again, so I think when you look at Dylan, I think Nebraska, if I came to Nebraska, if I were Dylan, I would say, okay, what I need from the program in order for me to stay, was that in place? Well, again, you fired your offensive coordinator halfway through his, or, three-quarters of the way through his first season. You fire the offensive line coach after his second.
His uncle.
But regardless, if I'm just telling you, you're a prize quarterback prospect through the first 2 years, we're going to fire your coordinator. We're going to fire your offensive line coach. All this, despite the fact that you've made it to 2 bowl games and something that hasn't been done 7 years there, you're probably going to think, okay, is this the place that's going to have the trajectory to take me to the next level? And if you do that compared to Oregon, who has already shown, it's becoming kind of the revolving doors of, hey, transfer quarterbacks come and boost your level. It's tough to blame Dylan for making this move. And then you throw, I don't know how much money I had to play in this. Probably not a whole lot, because again, from everything that I just stated. So, will he be a top 5 pick? I think that would be a jump. Obviously, you ask that about most guys. The answer is going to be no. Will he be a top 3 round pick? Yes, I think he probably will be.
So a couple of things. I was being a little vague. We have smart listeners, so I kind of figure they can just put it together. What I'm saying is, because you brought up the offensive line. The offensive line coach was his uncle. His uncle was clearly brought here because of Dylan. Okay, we don't have Jet Tamala here clearly because Dayton was a part of the package. Like, he's not going to walk in the door at Oregon and be like, I want these things. Okay, here you go. How's he going to react to that? He left Georgia. He didn't want to compete. Now, at Oregon, it's ready for him to be the starter. Just go take the job, so to speak. I'm telling you, I've seen it a million times in my life where people are used to a certain thing, absurdly talented people, and they're put in a situation they've never been in before. And sometimes they react okay. My experience is the positive or okay or good reactions are in the minority, especially when someone's been around and they're over 20 years old. They're used to something for 2 decades plus of their life, and then something is completely different. It'll go great for a while, but I'm curious, what's it look like 9 months from now? Anybody can put on a happy face for a short time. The only true test of a person's character is time, because over time things happen, and over time your reactions add up, and eventually who you truly are comes out. And either that's good or that's not. He's not going to have that at Oregon. So with Dante Moore, I figured you'd bring this up, but I remember before the season, you weren't all that excited about Dante Moore because you mentioned everything you just mentioned before the season. And I remember thinking, that kid went there and sat a year. Something Dylan's never done. That kid went and sat. He was committed to Oregon. Then he goes to UCLA, gets benched as a true freshman, goes back to Oregon, says, I'll redshirt and I'll watch and I'll sit and I'll learn, and then showed up ready to play. It's not about the physical tools. It's not about the potential. It's about the little things that add up to success in tough situations over time, especially when you're not used to them. The ceiling with Dante Moore was as high, obviously potential top 5 pick, as anybody out there. The floor was also incredibly low due to your point. What gave me confidence was he was willing to sit. That spoke to him as a person. If you think about how hard it is to play quarterback, all right, just go to the NFL. What's there, roughly 8 billion people on planet Earth? On any given Sunday in a normal NFL season, NFL regular season, Sunday, Monday Night Football, Thursday night, there's 32 guys on planet Earth that start an NFL football game, right? Out of 8 billion. That's not even 1%. That's 0.0001%. Now, out of those 32, how many are considered to be good? Good. Not just starters, but good. Half? Like, this guy's definitely going to start for us next year good.
Yeah.
20?
Right. Half
16?
20, yeah.
How many of those are like, this is a really good quarterback? 8, 10? And how many are elite? 4, 3, 2, 4? My point is there's not hundreds of thousands. There's probably millions, if not hundreds of millions of people with enough talent. Okay, to me, the hardest thing to do in pro sports is play professional quarterback. It's not just about physical talent. It's about the mental side of the game. It's about thousands of people screaming, millions of people watching, everything you do being analyzed. You got to play. You got the play clock going down. You got to audible. You got to read the defense. What if it's a slide protection? What if you audible? What if they can't hear you? What if that guy's blitzing? What if he's dropping? What if it's man? What if it's zone? What if it's show? What if it's all these things? Oh, the ball snapped, and now you got to do it all with guys trying to rip your face off. It's the hardest thing to do in pro sports. Number 2, I think, is hit a Major League Baseball. Those are the 2 hardest things, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Nothing is easy. I think golf is insanely hard, the amount of hours and the mental focus and things that go into that. My point is there's probably millions, if not hundreds of millions of people physically talented enough to do it. It's the other things that go into it that are the difference maker. And we're going to learn more about Dylan, if you're curious enough to watch and see how he does at Oregon, from a mental makeup standpoint as this year goes along up at Oregon, than we ever have, because he's going to be put in a situation he's never been in before. Why I like Dante more, and I didn't know he'd turn out to be a top 5 pick. His ceiling was high. His floor was way lower than Dylan's, due to your point. Experience, things he's accomplished already. But that was the one thing I was like, he'll be fine. I don't know how good he'll be, but he'll be fine. That's a great indicator of someone who's willing, like, hey, I'm not good enough right now. I need to sit back. I need to take a seat, and I need to get better, and I need to learn. I'm humble, and I'm here for it, and I'm going to get better. And then he turns into what he is. Now, obviously, the Peach Bowl wasn't good for Oregon as a whole, but Indiana seems to be pretty freaking good. So I'm just curious with Dylan next year. I think his floor is lower than Dante's was going into the season. I don't know that his ceiling is as high, even though he's got first-round talent. He's got to throw the ball vertically. They would be furious if they heard me say this. He's got to lose a little bit of weight, or he's got to be able to be more mobile, however you want to figure out how to do that. And those are things he's got to be able to do that he has not shown at Nebraska. And if you want to talk about sacks, well, that was part of the package that you asked for when you came here with the uncle as the offensive line coach. So I don't know. Is any of that making sense? What is the text line saying? We got probably about 90 seconds before we got to go to break.
Yeah, there's plenty that makes sense. Plenty on the text line here. 0220 says, I don't think people talk about how Dylan Raiola doesn't throw a good deep ball. He says it's awful, actually. Floats all his throws. I don't think we've seen one with some zip on it. He's really good in the short game, completion percentage-wise, but average yards per catch are very average.
So kind of what I just said a little bit. Game manager-esque. He's been game manager-esque here. So did you know going into the Minnesota game, as much as our O-line struggled, you may have seen this, we were actually top 10 in the country in the amount of time our quarterback had to throw the ball was over 4 seconds. And then, boom, 9 sacks versus Minnesota. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's definitely ammunition on both sides. Gus Mohawk says, if that road game in Eugene wasn't on your bucket list of away games already, it definitely is now. Plan to head to that game for sure. He's asking if they would know when it's on the schedule. We do not know quite yet for that. So yeah, a little bit more. Like you said, we got to get to break. I'll read through the break and see if we've got some other comments here.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket. And top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
It's the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 16th through the 18th at the Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. Come see trophy deer, hunting seminars, hunting and outdoor exhibitors, a 3D archery tournament, enter the blind giveaway, and more. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate, January 16th, 17th, and 18th. Learn more at nebraskadeerandgameexpo.com and find them on Facebook. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 16th through the 18th in Lincoln.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. It'll be mild, a high near 58. Tonight, mainly clear skies and a light breeze, the low around 36. And tomorrow, a few sprinkles will be possible. Otherwise, increasing cloud cover, be breezy and mild, a high near 61. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show. As a former Husker and NFL player, you find folks know a bit of a health nut, hydration, and recovery. They do start at home. That's why you should make sure you team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. It's like bottled quality water right at your tap. Great taste and is certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system or just $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love, go Big Red. Also, shout out to our good friends and partners at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at HamiltonTel.com. All right, before we get, I assume you got a couple of responses off the text line. All right, before we dive into those, again, Donovan Edwards, so Fernando Mendoza, eight freaking touchdown passes and 5 interceptions in the 2 college football playoff games he's played in. Just ridiculous. Fun fact, Donovan Edwards is the other guy I mentioned, has done it twice this century. So he's tied for second behind Mendoza. twice compared to 5.
Donovan Edwards, the running back?
That's what it says here. I was a little bit confused. All right. Also, Indiana, did you know they have the largest, let me see if I can get this right, largest living alumni base in the country? It's 805,000. Did you know that?
I had no clue. I did not know that.
Penn State's number 2 at just under 800,000.
Is this because they're able to keep their alumni alive somehow, or?
I don't know. What are you insinuating? What does that mean?
I don't know. How do they?
I feel like
they
I'm
get
missing
some
out.
sort of shot they give you when you get on campus or something?
Did they discover the fountain of youth and they're hoarding it? What does this
I'm not
mean?
sure.
All right. In Penn State, again, just under 800,000 living alumni. It's crazy. Ticket prices. All right. Well, I'm just going to read this. Ticket for the national championship game is going to be a fortune. Miami hasn't won a title in almost a quarter of a century, 24 years. Obviously, this is on Miami's home field because why not? Let's go back to the good old days. Indiana has the largest living alumni base of any school. $4,000 a ticket for the national championship game. $4,000. All right. And just so you know, Indiana enrolls almost 100,000 students, 90,000 to be exact. Here's an insane stat. FBS or equivalent type teams to score 55 plus points and win by 30 plus points in 7 different games in a season. 3 teams have done it all time. You want to know who they are and when they played?
Yes, I do.
2020. Wouldn't that be weird if you said no and we just moved on?
That would be weird.
2025 Indiana, 1886 Yale, 1885 Princeton. And them Ivy League schools, they were dropping some points back in the day. Think about that. All right, here's the rankings I was talking about earlier when you compare like Oregon and Indiana. All right. And so if you're Dylan Raiola, you're excited about this. If you're Indiana, you're like, yeah, we develop men. I think the average age of their player, it's either, hold on. Indiana has 45 players with 4+ years of experience. And I believe the average age of their players is 22 years old. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, that's cheating. No, it's not cheating. It's within the rules. Change the rules. Bring sanity back to college football. Kurt Signetti just outsmarted everybody. You know, a lot of the people complaining about this, by the way, you know who they are? Most of the people that I've heard anyways and seen, you know who they are?
Oh.
SEC fans. They're just mad because car dealerships can't fund their college football teams anymore without everybody else doing it too. Did I say that out loud?
You did.
All right. Oregon, 5 stars on their roster, 6. Indiana, 0. 4 stars on their roster, Oregon, 52. Indiana, 7. When you combine those numbers for us math majors out there, that's 58 total, 4 and 5 stars for Oregon, 7. 4 stars, because 0 5 stars combined for Indiana. All right, the Hoosier Daddies, won their last 2 games against Oregon and Alabama, mind you. Okay, so not some yahoos, by 70, let me get this right, 69 combined points. That's like basically 35 points margin of victory the past 2 games. There are 2 college football playoff games. That is crazy to me. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, here's one of my favorites. This has nothing to do with Indiana specifically, other than they're one of the teams I'm going to list. All right, ever since the NIL has kicked in, the college football national championship game has consisted of, 3 years ago, Michigan, Washington, no SEC. A year ago, Ohio State, Notre Dame, no SEC. This year, Indiana, Miami, no SEC. 4 of those 6, first of all, 0 SEC teams even in the game. So when people talk about, oh, they haven't won the national title in 3 years, which, by the way, the last time that happened to the SEC not having a team in the national title game was 99-02. They haven't even had a team in the game. And 4 of the 6 teams I've mentioned are now in the Big Ten. Michigan, Washington, Ohio State, Indiana. Then you got Notre Dame, who just does whatever they want. Only one other Power 4 conference is even represented. And that's Miami in the ACC. Think about that.
Those never won an ACC championship, by the way.
That is such a phenomenal. Say that again so everyone can hear it out
Miami,
loud.
not only did they not win the ACC championship this year, they've never won one.
That is so insane. So remember when they first, Miami joined and Vacek joined, and they put Florida State in Miami? Every year, remember they had the Monday night game, Labor Day weekend?
Yes.
For 3 years, and then they quit doing it? Because the anticipation was that they'd rematch every year, and they were trying to separate the 2 games as much as possible in the ACC championship game. Miami's never even played an ACC championship game. That is still mind-blowing to me. So think about this. When Miami and Ohio State were playing, I may have said this last week. I don't remember. A team that did not win the Big Ten, was playing a team that did not win the ACC, did not win the ACC championship, did not win the Big Ten championship for the right to go play for the national championship.
That's correct.
That is insane. You may have seen this as well, but this is kind of crazy. Carson Beck is going to go play in the national championship game. Did you know that? Were you aware
I
of
heard
that?
of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're aware of that. All right. Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are starting playoff games this year. Their third year in the NFL. All three were in the same recruiting class. They've been in the NFL for 3 years, and they were all three in the same recruiting class, except Carson Beck's still at Miami. I don't know exactly what that means, other than it's just interesting to me. Preseason odds to win the national championship, and I got the 4 teams that were in the semifinals. Obviously, we know we're down to Miami and Indiana. Oregon was 7-1 before the season. Miami 50-1. Ole Miss 60-1. What do you think Indiana was?
Oh, probably around Ole Miss 60-1.
No, 200-1.
200. Wow.
You got to keep in mind this was preseason Indiana. Kurt Signetti won't be able to do what he did last year again.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's what you and I were thinking. Who's this year's Indiana?
Right. Yeah. Remember that question?
Remember we swung and missed. It was freaking Indiana, and neither one of us said it. How did we miss that?
Indiana on steroids. This time,
my gosh. And again, this was going into the semifinals, so obviously these odds are different now. But the odds of each team winning the national championship heading into the semifinal games, Indiana was by far number one, plus 128. Oregon at 315, plus 315. Miami, plus 320. Ole Miss, 580. Indiana, obviously the odds have gone up because there's only 2 teams left. Some of those things were crazy. Let's see what else I got here. Indiana's the number 2 scoring defense in the country. They only allowed 1 touchdown the last 14 quarters. I took this note at halftime of the Peach Bowl. So in their last 14 quarters, at halftime of the Peach Bowl, they'd only allowed 1 touchdown. Think about that. That's insanity. And some of the teams they played, Ohio State, Alabama, at that point, half a game versus Oregon. They weren't playing, with all due respect, MAC teams or FCS teams. These were playoff teams. Obviously, because most of those games were in the playoff. But even Ohio State was in the Big Ten championship. All right, number 2 scoring defense in the country. I made this note from the Rose Bowl, and I meant to mention it, and I forgot about it, and I randomly came across it. I love this. So going back to the Rose Bowl. Pat Coogan, the left tackle of Indiana, was the MVP of the Rose Bowl. When's the last time you saw an offensive lineman be an MVP of a game, a season? I mean, that was phenomenal to begin with. The last time an O-lineman was the MVP of the Rose Bowl was 1944.
Oof.
Dude, those things are just freaking awesome, in my humble opinion. Okay, let's see. Last stat I got here. Advantage in explosive play rate. How many more explosive plays you've had throughout the season as compared to the teams that you played. Indiana was number 1 in the country, 82% more explosive plays than their opponent. Number 2 is Texas Tech at 81%. Number 3 was Oregon at 78%. So Indiana's do it on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball. They don't beat themselves, well coached, fundamentally sound. I love Kurt Signetti. After Oregon goes right down the field and scores on that first drive in the Peach Bowl, well, the first drive was the pick 6. Do you know 5 times this year Indiana's had an interception on their defense's first drive of the game?
Wow.
So their defense is on the field for the first drive of the game. 5 times they've intercepted the other team. That only happens that often if you are that well prepared entering the game. That's a crazy stat to me. But the next drive, Oregon goes, 14 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, ties it up 7-7. You're thinking we got a game, and then that didn't last long. Kurt Signetti does an interview. We can't get lined up right. We can't get lined up right on all 3 levels. I love Kurt Signetti, obviously. And he called a key timeout. You could tell Indiana kind of gathered themselves at that moment, and then the rest was history, as in a smattering in Atlanta at the Peach Bowl. That's called in-game management and in-game adjustments, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. All right, let's get to the text line. Let's go back to Dylan because I don't know. I'm not dying to do this topic. I know everybody wants to. Jake's dying. He's over there staring death holes at me because he wants to talk about Dylan. That's all he wants to do with his life. All right, go ahead.
That's
Jake.
right.
Go ahead.
Just a few texts here. 1922 says he didn't really want to be here. We got a 5976 first time texter. Definitely feels about this. I know Adam has to be a bit PC, but I don't. We all saw how slow Raiola was trying to escape sacks. The only way he would get quicker, he needs to get quicker, is weight loss and months of quickness drills to keep his feet faster. All this after healing from a broken fibula. He put broken leg, but broken fibula. No one doubts his ball skills and reading defenses. I also agree he's been spoon-fed up to now, and how he would react if Moore didn't go pro.
So that's a great comment. A lot of stuff in there. Final thought on Indiana, just because I think they're awesome. Mark Cuban. Did you know he's one of their major donors? Did you see that?
Yeah, he is now, especially. Yeah,
that's crazy. No, a lot of great points in that comment. So I even told Jake, as soon as we went to break, like, I know what the topics are. I have a general idea of what I'm going to say. If you've listened to the show for any period of time, you can kind of tell I'll just go off. Like, I'm literally just going. Like, whatever comes into my head within reason. I try to think before I speak sometimes. One of us speaks so fast, sometimes that's hard to do. But I really don't know how I'm going to attack certain topics other than I've got the information. I know the topic. The mic hits. Let's light this candle. Wherever we go, we go. As soon as we went to break, verify or call me out on this, I said to you, I'm a little surprised I'm being so nice on this because it wasn't planned. It's not that I'm not expressing how I feel. I think how I feel is I just want to move on from the Raiola showcase that was. I'm so annoyed that I feel like they handicapped us for years. And to be clear, any power they were not given means somebody gave it to them. So it's on those people. So if we were handicapped, it's on the Raiolas to a degree, but it's on the people that gave it to them. I'm just ready to move on and finally see what Rule can do as our head coach here at Nebraska, being Matt Rule. That's my summation. And it's not that I'm being PC. Trust me, I don't have a problem expressing my opinion. And there's plenty of people in certain areas who are not thrilled with me, but it is what it is. I'm just like, I know we're supposed to talk about it. It is an interesting topic. I'm just ready to see what Nebraska can do post Raiola. Good luck at Oregon. Hopefully you play a lot better, a lot quicker, a lot faster. And I wish you nothing but success to a certain degree. If he has too much success, then I'll get mad. To a certain degree. Like, you can reach the Final Four and lose by 1,000 points like Oregon just did, and I'll be okay with that. But anything beyond that's kind of like Creighton. Reach the Final Four in volleyball, basketball, baseball, College World Series in baseball. But then that's the cap. And I think I'm just ready to focus on Nebraska, but I know people want to talk about this. So it's not that I'm not interested. It's not that I'm PC. It's that I'm ready to talk about Nebraska, but I know this is what the people want to talk about. Does that make sense? Am I being fair? Is that not what I said to you during the break, like a shorter summation during the break?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what you were saying during the break.
All right. Anything else from the text line?
Bada Bing just says, who do you root for more? UCF and Frost or Dillon and Oregon?
I think we should go to break.
Okay, let's go to break.
I'll answer. I won't duck the question. I will say Oregon, and here's why. Because I'm going to factor everything into this. I have no other ties to UCF other than Zach Duvall's the strength coach, and obviously he was the strength coach here. At Oregon, I've always liked Oregon ever since I was. Take Dylan Raiola out of this. They've always been one of my favorite teams ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was a kid, I've always liked the University of Oregon. I've always liked Washington State. Keep in mind, I grew up in the Tri-Cities of Washington. I always liked Nebraska. And those were about my three favorite teams. Oregon State, kind of, sort of, they would come and go. Mostly they were not very good. But I've always liked Oregon. I did an official visit there. It was the year Nebraska went on to play in the Rose Bowl, but Oregon beat Wisconsin on a last-second quarterback sneak dive over the top of Joey Harrington. The game day atmosphere was phenomenal. Their facilities were phenomenal. I really liked Oregon. They were my number 2 school behind Nebraska. There were certain things about Oregon. As a whole, I like Nebraska better, but you're not going to like everything better. There were certain things about Oregon I liked a little bit better. Now, I came here, but I've always just liked Oregon in general. I love me some Dan Lanning. So it's easier for me to root for the team as a whole when it comes to Oregon than it is that other team down south, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Don't go to break. Don't go to break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
It's the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 16th through the 18th at the Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. Come see trophy deer, hunting seminars, hunting and outdoor exhibitors, a 3D archery tournament, enter the blind giveaway, and more. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate, January 16th, 17th, and 18th. Learn more at NebraskaDeerandGameExpo.com and find them on Facebook. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 16th through the 18th in Lincoln.
Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg-curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion. Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket. And top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Way out there where the sun comes up under the big red sky, I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
It's the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 16th through the 18th at the Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. Come see trophy deer, hunting seminars, hunting and outdoor exhibitors, a 3D archery tournament, enter the blind giveaway, and more. The Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, presented by Whitetail Properties Real Estate, January 16th, 17th, and 18th. Learn more at NebraskaDeerandGameExpo.com and find them on Facebook. Come to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo, January 16th through the 18th in Lincoln.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Let's give a shout out to more good partners and friends of the program. Mulberry Barbecue, now with 2 locations at 11th Cornhusker, 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 as well. Both locations open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and is 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2. Also, shout out to Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Suizo.com. SCHWISOW.com. All right. Is there anything off the text line? Because if we want to finish the show talking about this, I mean, I can get fired up or we can move on. You tell me what we should do at this point. What are the texters saying there, Jake?
Well, I think they are ready maybe to move on a little bit. There's a few questions that I think that people want to hear about Nebraska in recruiting. So 3278, and these are kind of the same ball field here. So my question is, why aren't we more involved with top players in the transfer portal? We need some big-time defensive tackles. And along those thoughts, somebody else, I wanted to get your thoughts on the new defensive tackle from Iowa Western?
Yeah, great question. So we just got a crystal ball as I was walking in. Okay, let's see. Pittsburgh, a transfer, Jasir Whittington. I don't think there's been an official commitment or anything, but he is crystal ball to come to Nebraska. So I can talk about him more if he official commits. But I have noticed since we have a defensive line coach, Corey Brown. By the way, I can talk about him a little bit. But now that we actually have one, it's like we're starting to get more commitments from various people, or at least crystal ball predictions, or at least more interest from various people that play that position known as the defensive line. Now, if you look at, all right, help me say his name correctly. Andy, how do you say his last name?
I was hoping you were going to do it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Berberija? That's probably not even close. I do apologize. I will work on saying that. Now, he just joined us last night. So, but JUCO All-American, 12 sacks. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for JUCO players and walk-ons. They're always kind of some of my favorite people, so to speak, because they would come in. Normally, JUCO players come in with a chip on their shoulders. Walk-ons come in, and they've got to do everything that everybody else is doing, plus try to pay for school. Obviously, college football is a little bit different today, but that's when I was playing. So this is a guy, when I saw it, I mean, he's a JUCO All-American, 12 sacks. A guy can get after the quarterback. This is a reason for optimism, potential upgrade on the defensive line, potential upgrade when it comes to getting after the quarterback. These are things we vastly need. Those are my quick thoughts there. We'll see how it actually pans out. When it comes to why we're not in the conversation for more portal players or higher ranked portal players, I mean, as of last night, we were the 28th ranked portal class in the country. On Friday, it was 25th in the country. The last time you and I chatted, it was 12th in the country. So it seems like it's trending in the opposite direction of what you would prefer. How much stock you put in recruiting rankings, portal rankings may or may not vary. I do know that GAGMEU's taken over the number one slot. All right, Oklahoma State has about 1,000 players committed to them, 43 to be exact. Not 43,000, 43 players committed to them. They got the number 2 class. Penn State's now at number 3. Once they absorbed Iowa State, they kind of slowed down after that. But Nebraska sits at 28. It's a good question. Is it because was Dylan Raiola a big-time attraction for offensive-type guys? Is it because we're not in the college football playoff conversation realistically, at least at this moment in time? Things can always change. What is it? Number one thing it's going to attract people is money. And if people are going to bring up the college football playoff, I'm going to tell you right now, a year ago at this time, were you thinking Texas Tech in the college football playoff a year ago at this time?
No.
So how'd they get the number one portal class? Okay. And when you think about certain things, it all comes back to having a plan of attack, knowing what you want to do, knowing who you want to go after, allocating that money appropriately, knowing how you're going to attack getting those players to come, being able to explain to them what you want the picture to look like in the end. I've said before, I don't want to build the plane while we're flying it. It's hard to get somebody to get on the plane if you look around and it's clearly being built while you're flying it. If you can show them the plane, that beautiful beast of a plane over there, 747, is that a massively impressive plane? I don't know.
I think so. I've heard that before, yeah.
That sounds impressive. That massive 747 over there, go get on it. It's much easier to do that. Right now, we're told we have money. Texas Tech had money. They had no better playoff prospects a year ago than we do right now. So for me, it's kind of like, all right, we got the money. I don't think it's a playoff thing. Was Dylan Raiola really our only thing that attracted people here? Because what about the defensive side of the ball? I don't think they came to play with Dylan. It's about, I'll never forget playing that clip of Texas Tech's big donor, billionaire donor. Remember when I played that? He said we knew exactly who we wanted to go after. The moment the portal was open, we were on the phone. We were talking to him. We had the pitch. We knew exactly what it was going to look like. And he goes, I couldn't believe we were getting our number one guy at this position, number one guy at this position, number one guy at this position. Now they had a lot of money to spend. We've been told there's no shortage of money on our end. Nebraska, top 10 in the country when it comes to bringing in money via our sports programs this past year, over $1 billion. Like, it's got to be there. Are we willing to spend it? Are we spending it appropriately? Are we making good offers? Are we attacking and going after the right guys the right way? When they look and see things, do they not only see the appropriate amount of money being offered, but do they see a plane that looks worth getting on? I am terrified of heights. If it's not rock solid, I'm running the other way. Maybe not the perfect metaphor, but if the plane doesn't look good, it makes it less appealing. I was impressed when Kenny Mitchell went elsewhere. Boom, right to Anthony Calandria. Is that how all of our plan to attack the portal looks? Or was it kind of a one-off? I don't know. Like, when we had a small high school class, the smallest Nebraska's had in decades, I immediately said, well, we got to retain the young players. We're very young. and we've got to attack the portal. We've retained a majority of our young major contributors. Dylan and Keona Davis are in the portal now. Obviously, Emma went pro. That's a bit of a different situation. But we retained majority of them. But now you got to bring in guys via the portal, and then you got to evaluate them appropriately so they fit what you want to do. And you don't, like, you need the appropriate pilot flying the appropriate plane. I know commercial pilots. They're phenomenal. I don't know if they're equipped to fly a Blue Angels, if that makes sense. Like, you got to have the appropriate people in place, the appropriate plan in place. And I wonder if not having a defensive line coach largely affected our inability to attract more D-line recruits. I know we're over time. You got any final thoughts, Jake?
No. Well said.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a glorious week, a great Monday. Go Big Red. And always remember to throw the bones.